fortunate to have two guest speakers today, Mr. Stanley Kubesch and Mr. Jerry Williamson.
Sidney Kubesch.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sidney. And their families were generous enough to actually donate a beautiful bench, which you can all see after they're done speaking, by the B-58. They were both crew members of that plane, and they're here to maybe tell us a little story about the world record they actually broke. So if we can just thank them for coming and listen to their stories. Thank you.
Thanks, Veronica. Well, the B-58 you can see behind us, they only built about 100 of them, and about 95 got delivered to the Air Force. So that's not very many airplanes. They usually build thousands. But it was new and experimental in those days, and it was really expensive too. When you build a few of them, if you build more, why then they become for volume, why they get cheaper. And we were trying to get them to build more. But in 1963, that's 51 years ago, we, myself and Jerry and our navigator, was a three-man crew. You'll have to visualize the B-58 in front of you. We sat tandem. Once you got in, you got to get to the other person, and you couldn't holler to him. You had to talk on the interphone the whole time. And so there were two wings of B-58s. One of them was at Fort Worth in Carswell, and then we were at Grissom Air Base. We called it Bunker Hill in those days. And so they tried to get more notoriety, so they came up with different schemes. Like the Fort Worth group was the first one to get to B-58s. So they had let's race the sun and go from east to west. Or let's try New York to London. Let's try. And they had 4 or 5 different ones. And of course, at Mach 2, that's twice the speed of sound, 51 years ago. And so that outfit was getting all the glory, and see how fast the airplane is, building some more airplanes. And, well, they had one more trip coming up, and so I said, well, 305th, you take this one. And so they were planning, well, what will we do? Like, have breakfast in New York and fly to Los Angeles and have breakfast again at the same time, or something like that. Let's race the sun. But anyhow, they came up with this Tokyo to London flight. And that seems to get everybody's approval. But they're looking way around the world, Tokyo to London, and to fly the Great Circle route. Why, from Tokyo to London, we would have gone on the wrong side of the North Pole and gotten over Russia. So let's break it up into 3 pieces. We'll try from Tokyo to Anchorage, and Anchorage to London, Tokyo to London. So we actually got 3 records that still stand on this flight in October, about this time of year, October 16th. We didn't land, but we had 5 aerial refuelings. And so the speediest record we had was from Tokyo to Anchorage, and I think with 1 with refueling, and that was well over 1,000 miles an hour. And then the next one was, as I say, from Anchorage to London. And so we were, what we do is hit the tanker, and we had to slow down for that. I think we worked out that we could get about 24 or 28 miles behind the tanker who was subsonic down below. And so we would pull the power off of over the afterburner to max overspeed to idle. Just, and General Electric had the engines and said, it'll take that. And then we just point the nose straight down, and the airspeed would decrease. You couldn't believe it, you're heading down. It just unwinds, and we get about 4 miles behind the tanker while we were subsonic already. And then we leveled off, came up and behind the tanker and took on our fuel, usually about 60,000 pounds or 70 or 80,000 pounds of fuel we take on. And when you got through with it, that refueling, we disconnect and drop down behind the tanker, and we just advance the power again. We go to full power, 100%. Then we had an overspeed, pull the throttles up over the hump, and we could get up to 104%. And then the afterburners were lit by then, and so we went full, 4 afterburners, four stage, everything that airplane had. And General Electric said, well, they could take them, engines could take that. So we didn't normally fly around like that in training, but we were really gobbling the gas, and we'd get up to sound barrier, up to Mach 2, and it was trying to go faster than that, so we just let her climb, and we'd get up from our refueling altitude around 24,000 feet up to as high as, I think, got as 57,000. And we just let her climb at Mach 2 in full power. And time to refuel, why, same thing. Pull the power all the way back to nothing. Nose down. So we had 5 of those refuelings. And but the only thing different about it was off after the last refueling, we couldn't get number 3 engine up to overspeed. We couldn't get like the afterburners, because when you like the afterburners, why the exhaust nozzles are just pitching in. And you like the afterburner when it goes up there. So it just wouldn't go. A lot of found out later after we got into London, and they changed that way. We were running low on oil. We only had 2 quarts of oil left for that big engine, so that's what caused that. So I could still get up to 1.35 Mach with full afterburner, full power on the other 3 engines done on a 6-engine way. And I just go about 100% or 98% or something and take what I could get. And that was it. When we left Okinawa to make this Tokyo to London flightway, we had the Federation Aeronautique International sent, I think they sent home about probably 15 of their employees, and I think some of the Los Angeles Aero Club, or some of the, but anyhow, before we took off, they gave me a dollar bill that was signed by 5 officials in Okinawa, and they said that when you get to London, all you have to turn in is paperwork to those people that are going to meet you. So it wasn't take our word for it, we did such and such. It was sanctioned and approved by the Aero Club of America and so forth, a lot of people. And the big was Federation Aeronautique that recognizes those records. And besides that, every tanker we came behind had an official on board. Looked and see right there on top of the airplane, we had a funny mark that identified us. Because otherwise, they'd say, well, he took off out of Canada someplace. And it's not the same airplane that took off from Okinawa. So they had to identify us 5 different times for each refueling. And then when we got to London, we were subsonic and pulled up behind the tanker to get verified again. And they take our picture, and a couple of aero officials on board that tanker. And so we came in to land at Renham Common. Where all these people coming from, just a hell of a bunch of people there already, and I couldn't believe it. But so we pulled up, waited for a day, and all the newspaper people were there. And so that was quite a feat. Mach 2 all that way, and didn't land. 8 hours and 35 minutes, I think. Something like that. So that was a fight. I'm still here. Jerry's still here. Our navigators since passed on. But, well, that's about the overview of it, what happened. I'll let Jerry come up. He was the third station man. He was just like a pilot, but he didn't have a stick back there. But he could, every time he went supersonic, where you had to transfer fuel back, and when you slowed down your fuel, you had to transfer fuel up, to center of gravity up. It was quite a job, so he kept that, and kept a bunch of records for me. So, Jerry, would you like to come up and say for him?
Thank you, sir.